Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another great episode of Bahrain Now, your source of local initiatives, happenings, talents, and trends. I'm your host, Bara Abdulla, here to walk you through our exciting lineup of segments and personalities from around Bahrain. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone is in a learning kind of mood, as today we're joined in the studio tonight by somebody whose passion for learning is so strong that they have made it their mission to play their part in granting more access to education. Dr. Carol Kao, who holds a PhD in Curriculum and Instructions, STEM Education, a Master's in Science Education, and another in Mild Moderate Disabilities, with an emphasis on learning disabilities, has, in partnership with the American Embassy of Bahrain, held workshops to equip educators in Bahrain with a wide range of skills to support students with potential learning disabilities. With us in the studio tonight is Dr. Carol herself and U.S. Embassy Regional English Language Officer, Sandra Story. Well, good evening. How are you?
Good.
Hi.
Very excited to be here today.
Amazing.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, totally, definitely. A lot is going on. First of all, thank you so much for the workshops. It's been amazing, I'm sure of that.
Of course.
So tell us about your journey and why you picked education as your passion.
I think I'm one of many, maybe one of few. I just had really amazing teachers growing up. And, you know, be able to see their passion and their caring nature and how supportive they were. Right. I remember at a very early age, I was just, I think, in awe of my teachers. And specifically, it really started with my 6th grade teacher. And I remember looking at him and going, that's what I want to do.
Amazing.
Like, he changed my life and he was so inspirational to me. My hope was maybe one day I could inspire one student. And that's how I got into education.
Wow, beautiful. It's just like that spark right there, right?
Yeah.
It was very inspirational and took you all the way to becoming a doctor.
Yes.
It's beautiful. How just, one thought can be planted and then it just takes you all the way to this journey. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us more about STEM education.
Well, STEM was originally my passion. Like any of the sciences, technology, engineering, math came easily for me. My brain is really about numbers and diagrams, and all of that just came really easily. And when I first started my education, I went into a science field.
Okay.
But then I always knew, even though I studied science, I always knew I wanted to be able to teach in that manner, right? And I initially started with teaching science to students with disabilities.
Wow, wow. And it's pretty important right now, right? With the STEM education. I mean, how important is it for the field?
I think STEM education is really important because there's nothing in our everyday lives that doesn't require something related to STEM.
Right.
Everything we make, our cell phones, our cars, how we cook, our groceries, even our clothing, it all requires something related to STEM. So it's just everywhere, and I think equipping our young students with the skills will really just help us in the future, because eventually they are the ones that are going to take over. Right? They're the ones that are going to have to enrich our economy and move us in the right direction.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
That is really, I mean, we're seeing the same thing happening here even in Bahrain. And as they're trying to get all the initiatives together for different kind of educational purposes and even fields and even methods to see what can we do, even with the coming SDGs right now, sustainability and all of that, the youth will take over. So definitely, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Now, not only that, you have the passion for people with mild and moderate disabilities, autism, ADHD.
Yes.
So that one thing as well pretty much took your interest in that field. Tell us more about that.
I initially just wanted to start teaching.
Okay.
So it wasn't really where or how. I wanted a teaching job, and I think I was very lucky that my first teaching position, that I worked with an administrator who took a chance on me, and my job was to work with students with learning disabilities and ADHD.
Right.
And so I walked into that classroom, met my first students, and I love them. Wow. I love working with this population, and that really just inspired me more, because I took their kind of perseverance and their struggles, but their kind of joy and willingness to learn and try, even though everything was difficult. right? Learning was very hard, but they were still trying to do it. And so it just enabled me to further my education in order to help them. And that's where it spawned, getting master's degrees. All those degrees were really to better understand how I, as an educator, can help my students with disabilities, especially access very difficult topics such as science and math.
I just want to say bless you for that. Really bless you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I mean, like you hear these stories, like a lot of people just want to see, okay, what is good to learn so we can earn, right?
Yes.
But in your case, it's more like there's a purpose.
Yeah.
I want to learn more so I can be more at value and pretty much help other people, which is a blessing. Thank you so much for doing that. I mean, a lot of people, even in Bahrain, they're trying to see how they can help people with autism or disabilities, and even ADHD at this point right now, as they're trying to change the narrative that it's not a disability, it's more like an ability.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on there. So hearing you right now is just, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, with that as well, there's a workshop, right?
Yes.
Took place as you're giving all the information to the teachers and having those great moments as you share knowledge and information. Tell us more about it.
I've been really given the opportunity to work with an amazing group of teachers, and I'm here for just a very short amount of time. But the workshops really focus on having, the current group of teachers understand various differences in their students, whether they have a disability or not, and then really giving them kind of an opportunity to possibly experience, even for one moment, what it's like for a student who has dyslexia or a student who cannot focus in class because they have ADHD, or a student who might have just a sensory overload because of challenges related to autism. And I think if we could just really put ourselves in our students' shoes just for a moment, we can really start to understand, wow, there's a lot going on and learning can be hard, but our students are really trying. And to take that kind of understanding and then applying it to, well, then how do we actually help these students? Because they're in our class, they want to learn, right? And that is our job, right? To really ignite the same passion in our students. So we've been focusing on helping our teachers understand what it's like to transition back into the classroom after the pandemic, how we can help our students, what they might look like, and kind of understanding the behaviors that sometimes stop learning, but what can we do to actually then change those behaviors so we can create positive learning environments. And then we decided to kind of also look at other strategies. So now you start to understand your students. So how do you then, educate students that are also different? We have students who really like to read. We have students who don't like to read. We have students who can pay attention and who cannot pay attention. So what do? We can't just focus on one student. And so what do we do to make sure we meet everybody and to engage everybody? So we've been working on that. And then we focus on kind of the English language learning.
Wow.
So we take all of that, and then how do we improve and engage our students in listening skills, speaking skills, writing and reading skills, right? Taking skills that many of our students do struggle with. Writing is a very difficult task. Reading is also a very difficult task. Well, how do we make it fun and engaging, and getting our students to really apply themselves and understand that these are skills that we are going to need, as we move forward, whether it's through university, getting a job, and at some point contributing, to society.
Wow, it seems like a lot of fun, actually, not only
We
educational.
do have a lot of fun in the workshops every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, from your perspective, like how different it is to teach a teacher than a student, right?
Yeah. It's not different.
Really?
It's exactly the same, because the teacher then switches the role. They now become students. And so when I work with a group of teachers, I treat them as if they were just my students, whether you are in grade 10 or even in grade 5. The difference with teachers is they have more background knowledge, right? I can elicit a little more from them, but I need to be able to learn from them, their strengths, their interests, their concerns, their kind of cultural backgrounds, things even about their family, because I need to be able to use all of that information to actually design lessons, activities, workshops to cater to their needs. Because I can't just go in and teach, well, today we're going to learn about reading. But if I don't understand the reading needs of their students and take the time to really listen to what's going on in their every day-to-day classroom, well, then I'm not an effective teacher myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of richness going on here. It's just so deep and yet so insightful. And I can only imagine you've been around the world, helping a lot of people, and now in Bahrain. Thank you so much for doing that.
Welcome.
So now I can only imagine what kind of future you're going to get into when it comes to education. Any things you're going to pretty much want to focus on more in the future?
I think I can't see my life or my future outside of education.
Okay.
In one form or another. I think I personally, I love learning. And when I teach, you know, half of what I gain from teaching is learning from my students, learning from the teachers. So I've gained, I think, actually more out of these workshops than the teachers themselves. Like, I have learned a lot, and I think I just want to continue that. And, you know, because I'm passionate about STEM education and special education, I really just want to help others, right?
Amazing.
This is a population, you know, of students and young adults that we need to make sure, you know, get the necessary skills, and, you know, we need to also ignite their passion. They have things to contribute, and we just need to give them the opportunity to actually show us, you know, their strengths.
Amazing, amazing. Coming from an academic family myself, my mother, my dad was a teacher as well, a professor. My uncle is a professor, and I can see it in them. Like, even when they got retired, it's like, no. Bring the grandchildren, you know?
No.
Every Friday, we need to learn something today. My mom is into physics, right? So you can imagine the kids what they have to go through. The ball is falling with that force and that speed. Give me the distance. I'm like, what?
I think your mom and I can be friends.
Oh, totally. And my son learned a bit of that, and then he went back to play Fortnite. It's like, okay, there's physics in Fortnite.
Yes.
Oh, I know what the word now is. So hearing you right now is just, it's so true. So again, bless you for everything you've been doing. I really appreciate. And I think Bahrain's appreciating as well all the efforts you've been giving here. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
It has been my honor.
Thank you. Thank you. And now, Sandra, how are you?
Good. I was here listening to your conversation, and so inspirational to know what Dr. Carol has done, and also that your family is in education too. I have a lot of members of my family also in education,
Amazing.
and I'm also an educator. So really great to hear.
This is such a blessing and an honor to have you both right here on Bahrain International TV. Just to hear these stories are just amazing. So tell us more about the embassy and its role with the workshop.
Yeah, so I am the Regional English Language Officer, and my job, which is the best job ever, is to bring specialists just like Dr. Carol here to Bahrain. And we do this by really looking into what is needed in Bahrain. What are the needs of the teachers? We work very closely with the Ministry of Education, and they can tell us, okay, we need somebody who can talk about this issue and this issue.
Right.
And I have a background in special education as well, and one of the things that I noticed when I arrived here is like that thirst for knowledge. People wanted to know more about special education. So along with the people that I work with at the embassy, we created this program. We have a program called the English Language Specialist. And Dr. Carol is one of 800 people that we have in our database of experts from the United States who can come and do this kind of workshops and lead this great effort, and especially with this topic that is dear and near to my heart as well. So it's wonderful that we're able to do this kind of programs, and not only we want the teachers to learn, but we want Dr. Carol to get an experience, a cultural exchange. That's very important for us too. It's not just about us coming here and saying, oh, this is what we're using, this is what we're doing, but it's also about the person that we bring to really insert themselves in the Bahraini community and learn from what is happening here.
Amazing. That is beautiful. With that being said, let me ask you about your experience here in Bahrain. What do you think?
It's great.
Yeah?
I've had such a wonderful time, and everybody has just been so welcoming. And that is something that I really appreciate about the culture. Just welcoming with open arms. And, you know, the teachers have a passion too. And their passion just ignites my passion. And it really has been such a wonderful learning experience for me to be able to sit and talk to all of the teachers and learn about their experiences and things that they've done that also work, right? And learn about their students and their needs, because when I leave here, I want to be able to use what I've learned here
Right.
to help educate my students back in the United States and to bring kind of some of the cultural aspects and teach my students that their world is larger than just the classroom, and to be able
Wow.
to share my experiences and hopefully spark their passion of maybe traveling or working in other countries. You know, it's really just my goal.
Beautiful. You tried Bahraini food yet?
Yeah, some here and there.
Have you heard of machbous?
Yes, I'd have to see what it is, and then you'd have to.
That's amazing.
She
That's
tried the
amazing.
ahrali cake the
Yes.
other day.
No
yes.
way.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
I've been telling
that
her
was
about
delicious.
it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, thank you so much for making this happen. Really appreciate it. So, any future programs we should really look into?
Yeah, so currently we have a program going on as
Okay.
well. This is reading strategies for teachers, and we have a professor here from the University of North Carolina
Okay.
doing this program. And we are inviting another person, Dr. Laura Baker, to come in November and do another 2-week workshop with teachers at the Ministry of Education. She has done some online programs with the teachers here, and now we're going to bring her by popular demand.
All right.
Yes, and she's going to be working on turning challenges into opportunities. So how do we go from the pandemic, what we learn, or how we can do instruction online, how do we integrate that into everyday teaching? Not just because we were forced to do it, but how can we really bring technology into the classroom?
Right.
And using this because it's here to stay, right? We have learned that we can do online teaching, and now it's here to stay. So those are a few of the programs that we'll be bringing. We also have our English language fellows. So we have 2 fellows who are going to come and spend 10 months
Okay.
in Bahrain, and they're going to be teaching at 2 of the universities here as well. So there's a lot of things happening. We also have the English language scholarship program,
Yes.
which is a 2-year program that we have for students to learn English after school and practice not only English skills, but also leadership skills and career development opportunities. So those are just to name a few of the many programs that we have and that we'll be
Wow.
able to offer through the U.S. Embassy.
You know, for like the longest time, I can even speak for myself when I say that we always are excited about what the U.S. Embassy has to offer. You know, we go to the website, we see what's going on. Ever since I was in high school, it's like, oh man, if we only can get a chance, you know, to see what's going on with all the programs. It's just so amazing. Like, you know, there's so much going on. It's so rich, it's so detailed, and it's just so rewarding. So to the U.S. Embassy, thank you so much. You know, I mean, for all the years and everybody that's been going to the States through scholarships and other programs, coming back with a new mindset and helping a lot here, even here in Bahrain. And now with seeing them, they're teaching, they're helping, and it's just a new perspective to life. So much appreciation to that.
Yes,
Really
don't
appreciate
forget
it.
to follow us on Instagram
Of
because we have a
course.
lot of programs coming your way. And just to mention that we want to have the same experience for everybody who comes and visit Bahrain in one of these opportunities, to have that really exchange, to go back and be like, you know what, I want to go back to Bahrain. People have been so welcoming. I'm loving it here. I'm
Love
loving
it.
Arabic coffee. I'm loving
Yes.
everything
Qahwa
about
and
living
all of
here.
that.
Yes, yes. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to collaborate.
Amazing, amazing. Let's do one last thing if you don't mind. You're in Bahrain, right? You're
Yes.
enjoying the food and the company and all of that.
Yes.
How about we give you a Bahraini name?
Sure, I would love a Bahraini name.
Yeah, I'll give you some options. Let me know
Okay.
which one sounds nice that you can take with you. Ceviche,
Okay,
first
Okay.
option.
Okay.
Moza,
okay,
Mariam,
okay.
Sarah.
I think I like Moza.
Moza?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, but yeah.
Okay, okay. Zainab,
Oh, that's pretty good too.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Fatma,
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Fajr.
There's too many options now. Too many options.
But still Moza pretty much
I think
landed?
I'm gonna go with my first choice.
All right.
Yeah.
Moza.
Moza.
Well, Dr. Moza, thank you so much for joining us right here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. And thank you so much, Sandra, for all the amazing work you've been doing
Of
here.
course, anytime. And, you know, we hope to come back soon and talk to you more about all the different programs we have to offer.
Doubt. This won't be the
Yes.
last time, definitely. You know, it will come back again with the Bahraini name and all of that.
Wonderful.
And hearing you and seeing you putting the Bahraini dress and all
Yes.
that. Speaking Bahraini as well. Like,
Of course.
wow, what happened to Dr. Carol?
Next time. I will be ready.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for all you've been doing and you will be doing as well right here in Bahrain. And we cannot even imagine the amazing stuff that's going to happen in the future with all the collaboration between Bahrain and the U.S. Embassy. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Shukran jazilan.
Afwan. Appreciate it, definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another example on the strength of the relationships between Bahrain and the U.S. all took place right here in the interview on Bahrain Now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the finish line. A huge thank you to all of our guests for joining us tonight, and another huge thank you to all of you watching us at home. As always, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. We love hearing from you. I'm Bara Abdullah. Till next time, Bahrain, goodbye and God bless.